Good evening. This is the last day of January 2024, and I want to continue with strange SPI games. A few days ago, we looked at Dallas, the television role playing game, and it's strange for a lot of reasons. It's strange because it's an RPG from 1980 that's not dealing with killing and so on. It's really ahead of its time in a lot of ways, but it's so strange that of an RPG that, especially from put out by a wargaming company, it's just strange for a lot of reasons. This is another very strange SPI game, but in a completely different way. It's Time Tripper, and I'll tell you, a super science fiction game. This Let me go ahead and give you full disclosure. This is one of my favorite games of all time. This is one of my most played games of all time. I've wore out 2 copies of this. And I need to get another copy because I'm afraid to play this too much because I wear it out too. Because when I play this, I play it a lot. I keep it set up. There's only 2 games that I've played quite like this. Is probably my most played game. There's only 2 games I've played like that, and that's B-17 Queen of the Skies, which I usually try to keep an extra copy of it. I've got 2 copies of it right now, and Time Tripper. A lot of people will say things like they played Ambush, played it to death. And Ambush is a fine game, and I loved it. But this would have been my Ambush, right? I love Time Tripper. Such a great game, but man, such strange game for a myriad of different reasons, right? So this was put out in 1980. Jim Dunnigan, once again, James F. Dunnigan, the designer, and the cover art is by Joe Barney, I believe his name is, right? J.J. Barney, who became a pretty known comic artist. Worked on things like the Hulk and Silver Surfer. So yeah, here he is at SPI. And this is the game. And look, this is more tattered than I would like it to be right now. And we're going to look at it. We're going to talk about why it's strange. But we're going to give it a little background on SPI. SPI, Simulations Publications, Inc. They were started in 1969 and by Jim Dunnigan. And Jim Dunnigan said their original mandate was historical games. And so they did that. I think he said they did that up until... was it the U.S. Army War College or Naval College? Anyways, it was somebody within the connected to U.S. Army training or U.S. Naval training, U.S. military training that contacted him and wanted him to do a modern game. They did all historical games, and out of that, SPI came Red Star and White Star. Right? Red Star, White Star came out of that, and it was a modern game. And as he said, we just went crazy. They did go crazy at SPI. They did a lot of different games. They did, they did a lot of different games. And they just, again, went crazy. SPI will be said a lot of times, and that's the truth. They were selling history. They weren't selling games. Avalon Hill put out, a couple games a year, and they were selling games. And games that stand the test of time and are great games. But SPI was selling history. A lot of SPI's games may not have been as good as the games as it was a piece of history, but it was history. You could play in different fields at different times. And so those SPI games became, even to me today, are classic. I'm an SPI guy before Avalon Hill. And this is one of the games, but outside of history, they went crazy about everything, and they did a lot of different games. And so this is 1980, just like Dallas, the RPG. This is Time Tripper, and this is a weird one, but it's a great game. And like I said, it would be in my short list of favorite games of all time, right? And we'll look at it here. Here's the counters. We'll look at some of those counters. I think those are the original dice. Look at those small. Doesn't matter. The dice didn't matter. It was such a Such a good game. Let's look at the rules first. We want to look at some later scenarios that were done. People have kept this game alive in a lot of ways and made more scenarios for it, right? So shocking that they would do that, but it's a game that you could do that with, and you should. Time Tripper. Read this first. This is you need this. This isn't just an ad. This is going to be your selection chart. You're making your character. So I haven't played this for a while, but man, I've played this game a lot. And like I said, I don't want to wear it out. That's why I haven't played it in a while. And I mean, I have literally wore two copies out. And when I say wore them out, the maps, the rule book, pretty worn. Let's see here. Introductions. We don't want to look. The biggest problem with the game are the rules. The rules, everything's there, but they're kind of set up in a weird way, as SPI was known to do. Let's put some rules in some weird places. But here's the introduction. It's about 3 a.m. on a jungle trail in South Vietnam. A few meters from the trail sits a lone American soldier. He is specialist Timmy the Zap. He's on ambush patrol again. He's not very popular with his platoon sergeant. The company first sergeant doesn't like him very much either. Well, we've all known people like that. Timmy has 3 hobbies aside from the one shared by most grunts in Vietnam of surviving until they fly out. Yeah, he's got chemistry, electronics, and military history. 3 hobbies: chemistry, electronics, and military history. The military history he got interested in after he was drafted. He always liked to read. And here he was with plenty of time and a little history in the making before him. He's read a lot in the last 2 years. His electronics hobby is reflected by the equipment with any piece of electronic experiments with any piece of electronic equipment that comes into his hands. He's hacking electronic equipment, right? His knowledge for the black market allows him to obtain many exotic parts and devices. He has customized the radio he now operates. He normally operates. His superiors don't know exactly what the radio's capable of doing, but they do know that it will do more than a normal radio. Tonight, Timmy's radio is wired into most of the sensor systems in the area, as well as yet an untested link with the local satellite communication system. Man, he did hack it. Timmy hasn't been indulging into his chemical interest, and he is now stoned out of his mind. He should have known better than to ingest a new batch without first testing it back at the base camp. But what the hell? This batch was so powerful, even if Charlie found him, he probably wouldn't feel a thing when the AK-47 opened up. It's a strange feeling he has now, starting to hallucinate. Off to the right, there is this column of light, like a phosphorus tornado. He starts playing with his radio. It begins to dawn on him that the column of light is flexing and moving, apparently in response to what he is doing with his radio's customized controls. Well, let's make the old flux dance a little bit, and dance it does. Well, let's let the old flux in for a closer look, and it comes. Well, let's get inside the flux, and so he does. Well, let's make the old flux change colors, and he does, and zap. All of a sudden, it is daylight, and there are no trees, no the flux, which he can still make out in the sunlight, is about 30 meters away from him. That's crazy. And about 30 meters away from him, uh, uh, wait a minute, a cop? Some guy in front of him, about 50 meters away, wearing a leather jacket and a leather helmet. Wait a minute, this guy is also wearing a skirt and he's carrying a pole. No, wait a minute, that's a spear. There's a whole bunch of them. I think I'll go back, says Timmy. The zap, the chemistry is a little heavy. It's working a little heavy. So, okay, what he's doing out here, he's on patrol. He's played with his radio. He's made some acid, right? And he's dropping acid, and he's playing around with the radio, and he's got history on his mind. He sees this column of energy, and he walks into it, and he keys his radio, and bam, he's in another time period. Starts seeing weird people coming toward him, and he's trying to get out of his time period, and that's it. You're traveling through time in different battlefields through history, trying to get back home, trying to get back to your original place, trying to get back to South Vietnam. If you could think about it. And here's the game outline: time travel stage, battle stage, historical soldier or animal phase, stun marker removal phase. Those are the phases, and it's that easy. All you're doing is, here, let me show you here. Let's talk about it. Your map, it's a small map. A very small map, but it just works out so good. Everything done so well with this game. I was trying to read that for you, but my eyes and the light in here is kind of bad. So this is it. This is the map where you're going to fight in. You're just going to be a piece of a historical battlefield, past, present, and future. You're going to go to some future battles too, which is very cool. And these are your future time display, and this is your past time display. And as you're going, you're trying to pass through here and get back to where you want to be. And eventually you will. It'll get easier as the more times you key the flux and get used to using the flux. What are these? Melee combat, grenade. Okay. These are just some what to do in what scenarios and something. That is a aftermarket thing. So you got here's your counters are okay. But the cool part about them is sometimes you'll have archers. Sometimes you have right there. See that one, a dinosaur. So you go back to dinosaurs. You'll have archers. You'll be in the Civil War. Let's look at some of the wars you can get into with this. Some of the battles you get into with this, and you're only going to be there for a few minutes, just as long as you can get back through the flux. Depending on where the flux is, it's not going to be around where you want it to be. It's going to be. But let's look at some of these battles. You got. These are some of the past battles. Dinosaur combat. 81 million. 81 million BC, right? Negotiation not allowed, right? Then you have some other ones. You have a saber-toothed tiger battle, Cro-Magnon buffalo hunt at 23,000 BC, right? You can look at some more over here. You've got Monmouth, Battle of Monmouth in 1778, right? You're going to find Little Bighorn there in 1876. Battle of Hastings in 1066. right? Gladiator games in 106 AD. Siege of Paris. So you're going to go through all these different scenarios, right? And gunfight it, but that's some of the future stuff. That's kind of cool. And you're going to be chased by time cops too. They're going to try to, in the future, there'll be time cops that are going to try to quit to pick you up for time travel and for unauthorized time travel. Uh, Golden Heights, 1967. Battle of Warsaw, Guadalajara, Kiev, right? These are some of the future ones over here. Cairo, 1974. Hell's Angels, 1983. That's even in the future from this, right? From the game itself. Easygoing Infantry, 1983. Mind Police, 2027. Wow. We thought we'd have Mind Police back in the day. Thought we'd have Mind Police getting close to now. Mutant Spearmen, 2380. The Dragon Lord Fantasy. That's a cool one. A fantasy scenario. There's another fantasy, the Buffalo Council. Roller Brawl, the other one. So it's very cool. Very cool that you have that. And it's a solitaire game or co-op game. I think it works really good solitaire, but it's hard. It's hard. It's also, but works really good co-op. But it can be beat. It can be beat. I've beat the game. I've won the game. It's just not easy to, cause what you're trying to do, you're not trying to get you'll want to get in some of these battles. You'll be there at Gettysburg, and you'll want to be at some of these battles. You want to take part in some of the fighting, but you doing that, it can you could get close to losing your life. Of course, you make your character. When you make your character, you can take X amount of pounds. Your radio cost, I forgot how many pounds it is, but it's one of the heavier things. And so you can take your M16, and it's going to tell you can take a shotgun, and you have however many pounds you're allowed for a one-person game or a multiple-person game. And your Battle of Shiloh right here. They're talking about it. Los Angeles Freeway. I think that's a future one. So, yeah. So you go to to wherever you go to, you can only take X amount, and you'll have that amount, and you'll run out of. It's tactical in the sense that you'll roll for if you've emptied your magazine or not. You have a pistol. You can take a few grenades. There's an M1 grenade right there. Right, you take a claymore, right? But that's the cost of it, and so you make your character tactically make a character. Where's the sheet? I thought I might have some. And these were cards that were made by somebody I got off BGG. I don't use them even as cards. I just use them as keep my mind right in traveling through time and everything. It explains it better. It explains it better than what it originally, what the old rules do. So yeah, but it is a strange game, but it's so good. There's your charts and tables. You'll be rolling on all that, but it is so good. It's so fun to play, and thought there was a character sheet. Am I wrong about that? You just write on a sheet what you've got. That's your battles. That's your rules, just a few rules. And then that's your battles. But there's some interesting things about the rules. How to set up the game. How to start the game. Random time travel. Yeah. Basic procedure. Yeah. Movement zones of control. It is a tactical game. But there's no facing in it, which they've made it as easy as possible as a tactical game. Like I said, you're firing your M16 or your pistol or your shotgun, or you're trying to throw some grenades. And when you start getting into the battles that have a cannon and other things, it starts getting tougher. Some of them are easy. Some of the scenarios are easy. You can wipe them out because it's in the Old West or something, an OK Corral, and you got an M16. You can take care of business. You can either use 3-round burst or use your 3-round burst or fully auto, right? So you got to make all these decisions, and you do that. And what's this? And these were new past battles that somebody made up and done, which excellent, excellent. Makes me happy to see that, and that gives you your new past battle map there, right? Glad somebody would do that. But this is the game. This is the game I love playing, and I want to play. Gosh, like I said, I want to play it now. But there is interesting things. Winning the game. Here we go. How to use a Time Master. General rule. You can play it as a RPG as well. So that's a really cool rules there. That's what they call it, the Time Master. They give you the negotiation, how you negotiate with somebody in the game. But you can play it as RPG. I don't know if anybody ever has. If anybody has, let me know. But a strange game. One of the strangest games you could ever play, but one of the funnest games as well. I love this game, and yeah, get a chance, you should play it. You should play it. All right, maybe I'll do a playthrough one day. I have to refresh the rules. That's been a year. I need a new one. It's been like a couple years since I played it because I don't want to wear this out. But I've played this so much, so much. So yeah. All right, y'all. Time Tripper, strange SPI games. Got any questions about it? Ask me about it. It's an easy game to play. It's worth the money. You'll be playing a lot of different battles at a lot of different time, and you'll also be frustrated in trying to get back to Vietnam, but it can be done. It's not easy to do. But the truth of the matter is, the fun is in the journey, not in the destination. And this game here, as strange as it is, it's one of the funnest games I've ever played. Like I said, in my top 5 of all time, this is going in there. I don't know exactly where, but it's going in there. All right, y'all. Have a great day. What's a strange SPI game you like? I'm gonna stay on this for a while. I might do your SPI game. I mean, this is a game that I don't think gets enough love. There's a lot of games. I like Demons from SPI. I'm going to do that eventually. Love Demons. But I can understand why people don't like it. This right here, I can't understand. You should like it. If you like history, you like war games, this should be liked by everyone. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.